Hey everybody, welcome back to another video here at Convince Tech. In today's video, we are talking about what I believe is the best battery for one of these 30 caliber sized ammo boxes that a lot of people just like me use for portable battery banks. Now, I built this one out initially because I actually had some leftover batteries out of my UPS in my server rack. And what these are is a 12 volt, 7 amp hour sealed lead acid, which is what my battery bank requires upstairs. Now, these, while they're great for that purpose, they weren't the best for this battery bank, mainly because, number one, being sealed lead acid, you can only use about half of the capacity out of one of these. It's not like a typical lithium iron phosphate. And secondly, it's quite heavy. So what did I do? I went out and found an upgraded version, which is a lithium iron phosphate. It's basically the exact same size, but this one is a 10 amp hour instead of 7. And like I said, you can use this one to its full capacity. So it's over twice as large as realistically what I would be using over here, because I'm only getting about 3.5 out of here, and this one's at 10. The other thing is with the weight, like I mentioned before, even though this one's the same size, I believe it's actually over twice as heavy. So let's weigh it and find out. The lithium iron phosphate, the 10 amp hour, we're looking at 2 pounds, 11 ounces. And this sealed lead acid of the 7 amp hours is 5 pounds, 6 ounces. So it is actually over twice as heavy with much less capacity. So I went down the path of building this one out with this battery, which did function great. It worked well, but I really still felt like there was some lost space. So I went out and found an upgrade again. And this one is the XZNY. It is lithium iron phosphate again, but this one is 18 amp hours. So it's not quite double when you're looking at what I had before at the 10. This one steps up to 18, but you will notice based on the size, it is actually a perfect fit for the ammo box. Let's look inside. All right, so when we're looking at these batteries, you'll notice this is the 10 amp hour here on the bottom. This is the 18 amp hour here on the top. And from a length perspective, it's right under 6 inches. It's sitting right about 5 3/4, which is actually the same as the 10 amp hour. Where we get the difference is in the width. And you'll notice this one's 3 3/4, almost 4. This one is only 2.5 inches wide. From a height perspective, this one's actually a bit shorter, where it's a little bit less than 3 3/4. It's over 3.5. And this one is a full 3 3/4, I would say. But the best use of why I believe this one is a much better option is not only are you getting the larger capacity, but you'll notice inside of the ammo crate, it actually fits almost perfect from a size perspective. So while my wiring in here, you see this is the output going to the USB ports. This is the input, which is coming in from my SAE connector here on the side. What I have is when I had this one in before, if I slide it down in here, you notice there's a lot of wasted space, regardless of how I would slide it. If I tried to center, which when I had the battery in, I did have it super glued down towards the bottom, but so it wouldn't slide around. But even if you center it, you'll notice there's still the wasted space. So it would either go to one side and feel lopsided, or we could have made better use. And that's where really this one comes into play. So this one here, when I actually slide it down in the bottom, you'll see from a side-to-side perspective, it is actually a perfect fit. There's no gap on either side. It has just a bit of room here, but the ammo can actually slides downwards. It comes down at a slant, which takes up the remainder. So actually at the very bottom, it is a perfect fit and there's no slide left to right. I did put in a piece of foam here at the bottom to make sure it does not slide back and forth at all, but the wiring hooks directly onto it with these F2 connectors, just like the other battery, so I didn't have to rewire anything. And then you notice I have my inline fuses as well for my input and my output respectively. All right, now let's talk specifics of the battery. This one, as I mentioned before, it does have a 20 amp BMS, so you can actually charge and discharge at the 20 amps. And then it comes in at price right now on Amazon for somewhere between $65 and $55, depending on if it's on sale or not. I believe when I purchased mine, it had like a $10 coupon for 55 bucks. I'll leave a link to this specific battery in the description below. So if any of you are interested in purchasing it, you can get it there. It does have all of the protections except for low temp sensors, I believe. It does have an overheating protection. It has the overcharge, over discharge, over current, all the typical security features you find in one of these style of batteries. It is not rated for any kind of like starting power or golf cart type battery. So I believe it is perfect for this purpose, but I wouldn't be using it in anything broader than that. You can parallel these. You could put them in series up to 48 amp or 48 volts, excuse me. And with this being the 18 amp hours, it actually comes out at 230 watt hours. So not only am I filling the space much better, but I'm almost doubling the capacity for what I was being able to use and carry around. Now, I'm not actually looking to get rid of the 10 amp hour for now. I have another idea, which I believe this is a much better fit for something like one of these, which is a smaller ammo can. So this one's actually the mini, and we're going to build this one out next. If you'd like to see that in a video, please leave a comment down below, and I'd be happy to film this. And what's next in this ammo can, which is I would like to add a shunt on here so we can track the actual capacity and usage flowing through here beyond just the voltage, because any of you that already know, on a lithium iron phosphate battery, the voltage has a very flat curve. So even though you're using, half or more of the capacity, it might even still be showing the same voltage. So the voltmeter here on the front with the USB ports, it doesn't work as well as it would on something like a sealed lead acid. So we're going to add a shunt here in the bottom, hopefully to give us a better reading that we can turn on and off and track that. Thank you all for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the quick video. I'll definitely be giving this a good use in and out, charging and discharging. It is lithium iron phosphate, so it's rated for, I believe, 4,000 to 5,000 charge cycles or 10 years like you normally see on these styles. I'll do a follow-up to make sure that it is still holding up in a future video. But thank you all for stopping by. I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.